Hey guys, my name is Lilly and today I want to report about the situation in Europe, and today we are going to talk a lot about economics and how people are doing here in the middle of Europe. So I'm especially going to present Austrian news but also some German news today. Okay, first of all I would like to show you this chart here. This is showing the inflation in Austria right now. So right now the consumer price index is at 7%. That's a little bit better than about a year ago. And the highest inflation that we had was 11.2, and now the CPI is down to 7%. But there's also a second marker of the economy, and here in Austria we have a Microbasket. Now I'm not sure what this is, so what kind of goods are in the Microbasket, but I think it's mostly maybe food. And the Microbasket inflation is still at 10%. So it really depends on what goods and services you're taking a look at. Some goods, like for example natural gas, have gone up again by 82% in price. On the other side, diesel has decreased in price by 24%. So it really depends on each sector, on what kind of products that you're looking at, because the inflation hits different kinds of sectors of the economy differently. So here, for example, you can see that the rent has increased by 8.2%, and that's about the same what I'm hearing from my friends and other people that I know. For example, I know a small apartment complex just near to my house, and I know 3 people living there, and they have told me that for rent they were paying like 850 euros 2 years ago. Now the rent is 1050 euros for a 90 square meter flat. Some have a garden, some not. But in a few months from now it's going to be 1250 euros for the same type of flat. So yeah, prices are going up, and rent is a problem. It's becoming a problem here in Austria. And 2 people that I know from this apartment complex, they are now moving out because they cannot afford, or they don't want to afford, this high rent anymore. And yeah, prices have just become ridiculous. It doesn't matter what you buy, everything is really expensive. So for example, let me show you this here. This is the Leatherman Surge. And I've bought one on Amazon in 2021, and it cost me 140 euros including delivery with Amazon Prime. 140 euros. Now the same Leatherman Surge costs 180 euros. So that's 40 euros more for a product that you would have bought 2 years ago. 40 euros more. Crazy. It's crazy. You know, guys, I'm not buying anything anymore except essentials and stuff that I need for work. But other than that, I'm not buying anything new anymore. It's honestly, I try to sell stuff now that I don't need anymore. And a lot of other people do that as well. So more and more people are buying used stuff because the new stuff is just really too expensive. And yeah, that's great. That's a good survival advice, actually. Don't buy new stuff if you don't have to. If you have the possibility, buy it used on eBay or other platforms, Facebook markets and so on. So if you have the opportunity to buy a good product used, then why not? Next thing is people are stealing more products and food in the supermarket. So here you can see a chewing gum in a small box, in a plastic box. This plastic box is anti-theft protection. This is a 5-pack of chewing gum which costs 4 euros inside of plastic boxes to prevent them from stealing. What other products are people stealing now? Batteries, alcohol, and a lot of chewing gum. So everything which is a little bit more compact but still pricey, that's what thieves like to steal. And apparently people are now stealing more than ever before. And that's why you also see now theft protection for chewing gums, which I've never seen before in Austria. So this is something new, and apparently people are struggling so much that theft has increased. Now I would like to talk about people changing their consumer behavior. So here you can see a chart about restaurants, and when people go to restaurants, they give about 33% less tips than compared to 2 or 3 years ago. Also, there's a 30% increase in vegan or vegetarian dishes because meat has become really expensive. Also, if the price increases, customers, they rather stay away from restaurants. So they have gotten really sensitive to prices. Every second beverage in a restaurant is now a plain glass of water, which is usually for free in Austria. So people try to save money with just drinking water instead of beer or other beverages. It's really concerning. Also, here in this article it says that people, they only come for the main meal anymore, for the main dish, and they order less soups and desserts because it's too expensive. Now, besides the economy, we also have faced some really severe floodings all over Austria. So it was raining a lot. It was raining through the entire springtime. It was really bad for the strawberries because most of them have gotten foul. And my tomatoes and other crops also have struggled, including the zucchini plant. So we had really bad weather. It was raining a lot. Now, other regions, they had droughts, including Greece and other countries in the Mediterranean. And while those countries in the Mediterranean had a lot of wildfires and drought, we had too much rain in Austria and flooding. So this is how extreme the weather was this year. And that's really sad. The floodings have caused a lot of damage, but also the wildfires in Greece has caused a lot of damage. So it's really, some people are living through nightmares and have to really fight for their existence. So it's really harsh for them. Okay, the next, property is getting more and more expensive. So here they've done a calculation. So if you buy a 90 square meter flat in Vienna, in the 3rd district, which is not too bad, then it's going to cost you 750,000 euros. Crazy. And you would have to earn like 5,000 euros a month. And from that 5,000 euros in the next 30 years, you would have to pay 70% of your income so that you can pay off this flat in 30 years. And that's crazy. So nobody can afford this anymore unless you have a really, really good job. It's out of reach for most of people. So most people cannot afford this anymore. Now, it's not that expensive everywhere in Austria, but in Vienna, it's really becoming too expensive now. So the price explosion with property is really a problem, but also for people who already have bought property, maybe some young families who have bought a house 5 years ago, they also now get into trouble because of the interest rates, and they are rising and rising every quarter or so. At one side you have 7 or 10% inflation, and then at the other side you have increased interest rates. So how will you pay this back? If you're healthy and maybe 2 people working in the family, then yes, you can do it. But if one gets sick, then you already have a problem, and then you will fight for your existence. So the situation in Europe is getting really dire. I want to show you a couple of articles from Germany. This is a German newspaper. And here it says the middle class is shrinking. Here there's another article about the deindustrialization of Germany. So the economic situation is very pessimistic. A lot of companies, they want to leave, going abroad where it's cheaper and where they can get cheaper natural gas and so on, and cheaper energy like electricity costs and so on. So it seems as if less companies are now investing in Germany. Then here, 11% of Germans cannot afford a proper meal every 2 days. Now, I'm not sure what they define as a proper meal. maybe a meal where you have soup and salad and maybe meat and side dish. It seems to be the same situation in Austria. People try to save money and they even do it with the food. It's serious. This is a serious topic. People are eating fast food instead of healthy food. They will get sick from this. They risk their health just because they don't have enough money to spend for good and healthy food. It also might happen that people end up on the street. More and more people are homeless. Here in Europe, it's not that bad because we have a really good social system. So we have shelters for everybody. So if you're homeless, you don't have to stay on the streets. You can go into a shelter. There are shelters for men, for women, for anybody who is homeless. So here in Europe, we don't have the homeless problem, but still some homeless people live on the streets because they choose to do so. So sometimes you would see some homeless people, but it's not really a lot here in Europe. So we still have a social system and it's working. The only problem with the medical system now is that, yes, we had a really excellent medical system. We had the best doctors, you would get the best surgeries and so on. But the pandemic has destroyed our medical system. So now a lot of doctors and nurses have burned out. They are not coming back to work. We are also running out of medication. So for example, our son had an ear infection a month ago. And then we went to the doctor and she said, yes, he really needs antibiotics. And then she said, yes, there's a shortage of this type of antibiotics. And that other people were driving through all of the county to get this medication for their children. But then gladly we were lucky and we got the medication within our town. So I think the big problem is that all of the medication, or most of it, is coming from China or India, but we have no big production facility in Austria. And I believe outsourcing such an important, integral part of the society, our medical health, that's a real mistake. That's a big mistake. I think they should build a production site for antibiotics immediately here in Austria and in every other country of the world. You don't want to outsource such an important topic. I think that's the biggest mistake that they have done. Yeah, guys, so this is pretty much it for the situation in Europe right now. As you can see, it's pretty dire and it's not getting better. So it really is hard for people. And I hope that slowly the economy can recover. But of course, first, energy prices have to come down. That's for sure. All right, guys, so this is it for today. I really want to thank you guys for watching and stay tuned. Till next time.